Hi, this is Karen Alexander, and I am on Module 5 at the point of teaching you something that I know. I thought about it for a long time, and what I chose to do was to teach you how I display my watercolors if I'm going to a show or if I'm selling them or whether I'm hanging them. People are going to hang them. So I'm going to show you how I put one in just matte board, protective matte board, and a cellophane bag so that it can be transported and a person can pick their own frame. Also, if I'm selling, they sell for a little less. Also, and then I'm going to show you how I mount a portrait or watercolor. They're both, I do a lot of portraits. They're on the wall behind me, some of them, and I'm going to do it at a table, so I'll get it set up. I may need your help. This looks good. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you is one of the watercolors that I did. This is a watercolor of a young Joni Mitchell as a portrait. And the portraits behind me, I have done from photographs. This is Jane Goodall, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Maya Angelou, Bob Dylan, Mick Jagger, Michael Stipe, and the other three were just interesting photographs I found, and I wanted to create the portraits. So let's start with what I would do if someone purchased, this is a gouache. It's an Asian Oriental lady with a background. It's very whimsical. And if someone purchased this, I would need to get it to them. So I'm going to put it in a portable and safe place. And that consists of a stiff piece of matte board and a frame that goes over the top of it. So what I do is I turn the frame upside down. Let's see how, I'm gonna look and see how she goes best. And then I will center the picture to where I think it looks best, which I'm doing now. This does not show the whole painting, but it shows it in this setting. And then I peel this tape. This is very special tape that comes with the matte board and frame, and it's sticky enough to hold the picture on, but it comes off easily without tearing the painting or the piece of art. So I'm going to place it around. So I just put one piece there in the back and make sure the painting is where I want it to be. And it is. And it doesn't have to be even on the back. It just has to look right this way. And then I'm going to place, if I was mounting this permanently, I would surround the whole painting with this tape. But because it's just going to be temporary, I'm not going to use up all my supplies. I started watercoloring during the pandemic. I was a senior then, as I still am, and wasn't supposed to leave my house except for errands and appointments. So my husband and I were kind of locked in to our home for a year and a half, which is a long time to be not out and about. I'm sure some of you went through that at some level. I found a person I knew that was teaching watercolor online on Zoom, Zoom became one of my favorite things as a result of that. And so we signed up for watercolor lessons just to have something to do that was creative and interesting. My daughter's an artist, and she does not do watercolors, but I thought, why not give it a try? She's always encouraged me to do that. She does more oil and lithography, printmaking, things like that. So it was something I could manage from home. I could get supplies mailed, and it turned out to be very rewarding. So now I have my piece mounted with this protective piece behind it. So what I'll do is put it in this envelope, which just closed again. Again, I'm careful with it so I don't tear it. And I put my piece inside the envelope, kind of all at the same time. I have to keep it pretty even or it can tear. And once it's sealed, there you have it. It's in a cellophane pouch. You can see what it would look like with a matte frame. And I'll bring it a little closer to you. Got some gloss on it. So has a really good purpose for art shows and selling, sending through the mail if I don't send in a tube. And it works great. So this other thing that I'm going to do with this portrait of Joni Mitchell, I'm going to use a frame like I have behind me. This is what it looks like up close. Those are kind of far away. And I'm going to lay the frame face down on my table, and I'm going to take the back off of it. Like that. That's the back. The other thing I'm going to do is, again, what I did before with the other piece. I'm going to center my portrait within the mat, how I think it looks best. And then I will use the tape again. And I will start by just taping one place to make sure it hasn't shifted during my turning it over. It's been a real fun process to learn the things I've learned about art and this particular medium. And I think she's sitting really nicely in the frame. So I will go ahead and tape her in. This way you can take the painting out if you decide to change what you're doing, or the person who gets the painting decides to change the frame. And when the tape comes off, it won't hurt the painting at all. So it's a nice, safe way to keep the painting. Some of the frames that I have, that I buy my frames at Michael's, and I usually buy them in bulk. And some of them that I get from Amazon are lighter weight and have an acrylic front. The one thing about that is if you were to be cleaning it a lot, you could scratch the frame. So it's something to be aware of if you go for acrylic, so it's lighter and you don't want to use glass. But the results are both beautiful when hanging. So here's Joni and her mat. And then I'm going to slip her in the frame and put the back on. And let's see, secure the back of the frame. It depends on how this is a less expensive frame, so the backing is not as easy to work with. There are little pieces of metal that you pull up and pull down to get to the frame. So there we have Joni Mitchell in a frame, and she could hang right up with the others. And I'll probably put her on the wall because I like having my subjects for portraits are usually people that I admire or I find very interesting, the faces. So my first portraits are powerful women that have made an impact in the world. And then I have 3 musicians that I like, and then just interesting faces. I also do lots of other types of portraits and paintings. They tend to be a little fun and more abstract. And I can show you a couple of them. I'm gonna move out of the way here, so. This is one that I did early on, and it's very Picasso-ish. It's blended faces. And this is another one that I did more recently. It's a pen and watercolor. And it was a photograph that I found of this girl going to market, I don't know what country, with an armadillo on her head and all kinds of stuff in her basket. Looks like a raccoon or a cat. And I just found it fascinating. This is a painting I did of a California landscape. I was born and raised in California, and it's very near and dear to me, the Golden Hills and scrub oaks, which creates the blue and the hills that are further off. So I would encourage you, if you find yourself in a position like I did, with a whole lot of time on your hands, I was retired at the time, to think about something, a hobby that you'd really like to try. Now that we're looking at fear and we're looking at overcoming that and becoming brave, one of the scary things was my art instructor made me post everything on Facebook. And believe me, my early portraits, my early watercolor experiences looked like I was in preschool. And they had my name on them and I had to post them. It was very humbling. I do have a page now under my Instagram handle where I post my art. Anyway, I would encourage you to explore things that you're interested in. My next venture is stained glass. I just received all the equipment for it, and I've already taken a couple classes. So that's where I'm headed next. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something. Thanks.